Congress is talking to Jerome Powell. I am hyped up today, man. My co-host here is not. Don't worry, we're going to get him hyped up. What's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday, and welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts, and today, like every single day, except for Saturdays, we're coming at you live from our studio. Today, we have an absolutely exciting show for you today. Day 2 of Jerome Powell answering questions in front of our elected politicians has commenced and ended, and we have some important video clips to share with you. Also, our champion, Senator Cynthia Lummis from Wyoming, she has spoken. She gave a masterclass on energy and Bitcoin mining, and you should show this video to any one of your family and friends or anyone that says Bitcoin uses too much energy. Also, huge news as Voyager assets are officially okayed to be bought by Binance.us. What percentage of your money will you get back if you have money on Voyager? Also, the SEC gets shunned yet again. We have so much to talk about. But first, here's your other co-host, Robin.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, where you been? And if you didn't know, we're an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take old, boring, and staunchy information and package it up in a fun and sexy way.
Staunchy information.
That's right.
Does that say FOMO-phobic?
FOMO-phobic says hello. If you're new here, say hello, just like FOMO-phobic said. And we will jump into Ola back at you. We also have Hasim G up in here. I haven't seen him before. To all of you, Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. I am ready.
You juiced or what?
I'm juiced up, bro. The only thing that's not juiced up is Bitcoin. Sitting at a flat 22,000 even.
Wow.
So at a big level, right? Psychological number. Will we go under? Will we go up?
So
Who knows?
what's the number that you'll interrupt me today to say that we're at? Is it
22,000
flat?
Flat, yes.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
If this thing drops to 19,000, no matter what you're doing, I'm going to interrupt you.
Well, I would want you to.
Okay.
Yes. But if it's like 21,999.99.
Do you know what this is right here? You see this right here? You understand?
Yeah.
What is
that's St. Patty's Day. No. That's
St. Patty's Day?
That's Infinity Day.
Infinity Day?
Yeah, because it's got the Infinity logo, you see it?
Rocco, will you school this man on what today is? It's International Women's Day.
International Women's Day.
The 8th of March, bro.
Women, ladies, we love you. We need more ladies in our community. We need more ladies in the crypto community.
Did you do anything for your lady? I'm going to assume no.
Absolutely. I woke up. She made me coffee. I gave her a hug. I'm kidding. You know, I have one of the lowest maintenance wives ever, and for that, I love my wife.
I understand that your marriage isn't going to crumble if you don't get her a Valentine's Day gift or show her appreciation. I know she's not going to leave you. We're all in agreement.
My wife loves me,
but you should show some appreciation for that woman. Maybe surprise her with something. Yeah, other than
I did. I surprised her.
Hey babe, what's for dinner?
She did make some bomb crock pot burritos yesterday, bro. Fire. Anyway, what did you? You're over here harping on me. What did you do, Robin?
I got some flowers delivered to the house.
Wow. Good for you. Can we get a round of applause for Robin?
I actually use DoorDash to deliver flowers. You
can do that?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, because I tried to pick some up at Walgreens, but they didn't have any. So then I was like, well, that plan's out the window. So I was like, how can I get some in the next 2 hours? And
Jessica said, don't go to Walgreens again. You got it, Jessica. You got it. I was in a bind here, all right? I was in a bind, but better than nothing. Walgreens is better than nothing. Yeah. Also, Kelly Boy said, nice title. I'm a Voyager customer. Gimme. You are going to get a. And we'll get into the details here in a second, Kelly Boy.
Would you ever buy? I feel like Dave will buy his wife some gifts from 99-cent store. He's like, it's better than nothing. Okay, don't you complain.
Bro, I got no shame. Like,
I
got no shame.
I got a Virgin Mary candle and some plastic flowers.
Loves me because she loves me, not for the gifts I get her or where I get her gifts. Okay. On our 10-year anniversary, I upgraded her diamond to a $15,000 diamond. All right. So I'm not cheap.
Can I get a round of applause from my man here?
I'm not cheap, but I'm also, my wife isn't materialistic. She's dope as hell. I love my wife. Babe, if you're watching, happy International Women's Day. Also to all the other babes.
You didn't even know it was International Day till we told you.
Yeah, exactly. But now I know. So now I got to say hello. All right, man. Well, this is enough. Okay. Let's talk about some important things. So, Paul
Your woman's not important? Women, you are important. I'm sorry. He literally he was like, oh, I didn't know. So appreciation. Now to some important things. Bro.
Just do the show yourself, man. Just do it. Go.
All right. So we're going to look at the JOLTS number today. It's going to give you a jolt of, of energy. And also looking at the Ichimoku cloud.
Ichimoku. Good job, Robin. You can't even pronounce that right.
It's a new cloud.
So
It's a new cloud. It's more like
a clown. All right. So this is very funny. So Paul Krugman, okay, he's a famous economist. He's actually a smart dude. He's anti-crypto. I'm not saying he's smart because he's anti-crypto, but I watched this masterclass. It was him, CZ, Emily Choi from Coinbase, Chris Dixon from A16Z. They did a masterclass. They had a few debates on there. Paul Krugman asked some intriguing questions. And it's extremely important that, we might not agree with what everyone says outside of our space, but I think it's important to hear their concerns so that we see both sides, whether it's in politics, in crypto, or in this show you're watching today. It's good to get my perspective, good to get Robin's, Kyler's, Rocco's, people in the chat. Doesn't mean you have to believe in it, but to hear them out and understand where they're coming from, right? And so Paul Krugman has been anti-Bitcoin, anti-crypto, and he tweets this today. I've been using Venmo for years, but now it won't allow me to make payments. I spent a long time in chat with representatives, and they told me they can't explain why or fix it. The software has taken control. And then he said, and tweeting got results. A representative called me back. And so we have a few people from our community, from the crypto community, tweet out. Dylan Leclerc, who is a senior writer for Bitcoin Magazine, said, with e-currency based on cryptographic proof, without the need to trust a third-party middleman, money can be secure and transactions effortless, said Satoshi.
What about the next comment? Hold on, go up. Were you
we trying to buy drugs or assassination? Because Paul Krugman tweeted this: cryptocurrency lets you make electronic transactions, but so do bank accounts, debit cards, PayPal, Venmo, etc. All these other methods involve trusting a third party, but unless you're buying drugs, assassinations, that's not a big deal. Unless, of course, you're Paul Krugman and you need to go to Twitter.
So, hold on. Did he say that in a previous?
Yes. Yeah.
When did he say? Is there a date? No, you can't see it, huh?
No, you can't see it. But I'm sure if we go through his Twitter, we can.
So he's basically saying you can make payments with Venmo unless you're trying to assassinate somebody. And then he's like, I can't make payments
Venmo,
with
help! I'm on Twitter, please help me. And then, of course, Michael Saylor.
That's an epic ass troll right there, bro.
Michael Saylor, of course, said.
Can you message that guy that just trolled him? Where's he at? Who's the guy that trolled him? It said that guy. Yeah, message him.
Mirage.
Yeah, say round of applause.
Mirage.
Yeah.
Comms at Coin Center. I love it.
Yeah.
What would you like me to say, Robin? What would you do it live on air?
Say mucho gusto.
We love your comment to Paul Krugman's tweet. About
Put something funny up there, bro. Put like epic troll, troll city. There you go. Beautiful. Thank you.
Bam. Let's see if he gets back to us. Niraj, if you're watching our show for some odd reason that I don't know why you would be, but let us know. But all jokes aside, though, isn't that the whole point, Robin, is to not trust, not have to rely on someone else, right? Mm-hmm. An untrusted third party, permissionless, decentralized, doesn't give a crap who you are, how much money you have, what ethnicity you are, what color your skin is.
Here's the thing.
What political affiliation you have.
At some point, there's always going to be control by the government, or there's always going to be a vested interest by the government, right? No matter what. And you could say that's positive because, I mean, in some way, it's got to be, right? If you're sitting here saying, hey, I'm donating all of my wealth to terrorism. At some point, you would hope that somebody would step in, right? A government would be like, how about no? Right? And so at some point, government is always going to step in. But my thing is, the only thing is where is the line drawn? Where is it okay? And that's where you get from one government to the other, who's more oppressive, who's got more control, who wants more oversight, who wants to control your money more. And so that line is ever moving. Now, that thing also moves with who's in office. And perhaps 2 presidents from now, we have somebody in here that's like, yo, we have too much fraud. We need to control all the money. We need to control everything. And so having privatized money that isn't influenced by politics is a hedge against the unknown and the variables that will change in our future. And perhaps we'll never get to a position where the government wants supreme control over its citizens. But maybe we do. Maybe, or if you live in England, perhaps that happens. Or maybe, the countries of Brazil ends up being something similar to what's in China. What I'm saying here is that you don't know. The future is uncertain. Black swan events will happen. Wars will happen. And if you just entrust your money to be frozen, confiscated, halted, taken, printed to death, and you just blindly believe that the government's going to have your best interest, history has proven over and over again that countries do not have your best interest. They have their own best interest for the politicians, and usually the privileged and the 1%, the wealthy institutions,
the people.
whales.
But here's the thing I remember going back to this Paul Krugman thing. Not everyone has the clout to tweet at Venmo and get an answer. So imagine if it was you trying to send Venmo or make a business transaction using Venmo or trying to send your family money. Say you're one of your family members in the hospital. They need surgery right now and you need to send them $5,000. And, sorry, I got to wait 3 days for it to clear, 5 days through the SWIFT system. Or I'm going to Venmo. Oh, nope, it's not going through. Then what?
Somebody just Venmoed me $100 2 days ago. And I had to re-download the app, and I was like, man.
Yeah.
Can we just do crypto, please?
I do have some breaking news, though, speaking of crypto. JP Morgan Chase ends its banking relationship with Gemini.
Ooh.
You think we're going to see more of this, bro?
What's that?
You think we're going to see more of this? Bank of America not letting you onboard money on like Coinbase, Gemini, or now we saw obviously JP Morgan's doing that with Gemini.
Well,
now.
Here's the thing. Gemini obviously had the issue with their staking with Genesis. And so maybe they're trying to distance themselves from that. Now, had this been JP Morgan ended relationships with Coinbase, or I don't know who they're partnered with outside of Gemini, but I'm just giving you examples. Had it been just your typical crypto company that hasn't lately been dragged through the mud, maybe I'd be a little bit more concerned. I think this is more of a PR move to distance themselves from this FUD articles that have been coming out. Because here's the thing,
2.0.
JP Morgan is not exiting crypto. So don't take this as, oh, hey, JP Morgan's throwing their hands up. They are at the forefront. Their large institutional clients can buy crypto. And that's their bread and butter. And they are building the infrastructure to run crypto for the foreseeable future. So don't read these headlines and be like, hey, look at that, man. JP Morgan's out. Jamie Dimon says crypto's rat poison. Like, stop. Like, these guys are showing you one thing. They're doing the magician thing. They're like, look at my hand over here. Look at my hand over here. And they're picking your pocket from over here. You don't even see it. Wallet's gone. Your wallet's gone, bro. But hey, the whole time you're like, look at that. It's a pigeon, a dove.
What?
I'm just saying, these guys are playing tricks with you, man.
So, Robin, when I was on Wendy's show, I talked about how they're going to be pushing custody into the lap of the banks. Do you think this fits that narrative of, hey, let's say the banks have decided, or the SEC's decided they want these banks to custody people's crypto because they have oversight of it, and also they want to help out their banking buddies, that it's going to be them coming together and cutting off access to on and off ramp fiat through these exchanges, and then turn around and then this new bill's coming out, this new custody bill or custody rule, regulation, whatever you want to call it, that's only going to allow these banks or qualified custodians, which who knows what stipulation is going to be put in there. You think this is kind of falling right into the lap of that narrative?
Maybe. I don't know. I think regulation is going after. What are they going after right now? I don't know, man. I feel like
What are they not going after?
that's the thing, man. They're just spread thin. They don't have an agenda, right? Because if I were to say what
Who doesn't have an
what is
agenda?
regulated,
Hold on, hold on.
what
Who doesn't have an agenda?
they don't have any meaningful agenda other than no, I'm talking about regular. I'm talking about like
talking about personal agenda.
Yeah, well, we know that certain people have a distaste for crypto and they're trying to essentially prevent it from integrating with institution-based clients. They're not trying to remove the average retail user from buying Bitcoin. However, what they are trying to do is not have it in our markets, in our financial system, not having it in our banks, not having any publicly traded companies own it, use it, hold it, whatever. You agree? And I think maybe the narrative is pushing that direction. But essentially, there's really no, when they're having all these hearings and meetings, there's really no progressive agenda here that they're trying to accomplish. They're not saying, hey, let's get regulation on stablecoins. Let's find out what a cryptocurrency token is and what is a security and what is a digital asset. There's nobody sitting here beating the drum to get clarity. The only thing they're trying to do is just put the brakes on stuff and make up rules as they go. That's where we're at.
Speaking of where we're at, where are the prices at, Robin?
All right. So taking a look, as we mentioned, we have we got 22,000 even, and so where are we gonna go? Take a look at how we got here on the price of Bitcoin. I did have a little pullback from this morning, and so from 22.2 down to 22,000 even. We did break below for just a short period of time, and as you can see here, we are actively testing this little range. And taking a look at the 7-day, you can see that we are trending on the downside a little bit. Now, this is not some major volatility. Perhaps when you look at the last 6 days, sure. But when you look at when you zoom out and you take a look at the bigger picture, you can see that this is quite unsubstantial of a move. And then take a look at the 3 months, you can see where we're at. So, yeah, man.
I think we're gonna see sideways action, but until
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if we get to test the say 20,000 mark. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't think we're gonna break below that. I do think that there's going to be a lot of buying at flat 20,000. Maybe we wick down to 19, but we rebound like instantaneously. But
unemployment comes out in 2 days. I think we're going to get some volatility around that.
That's the thing. You're putting so much into the U.S. job numbers. This is a global asset. Now I get U.S. is the number one economy, and we're at the forefront for deciding where the global markets will go. Risk on assets, Bitcoin trades in those ranges, but no, man, I just don't think that we're gonna see 19,000 because of a jobs number. I don't think we're gonna see 19,000 because of a CPI number. I don't think we're gonna see 19,000 because the Fed decides to raise half an interest rate point. I think the value of Bitcoin right now is undeniable, and the smartest people in the room, people that have money, know that the halving is less than a year away. The halving is coming. Higher prices are coming indefinitely, and you're just looking for a barrier for entry, the best price to enter. And at some point, they're going to see an undeniable value if the price drops. And so that's why I am confident that if the price gets down to 20,000, these hedge funds, these whales are going to start DCAing chunk buying. And I think it'll just pull the price back up. Now, not to say that there can't be a black swan event. Something crazy happens, sure, we'll go right back down to 18,000. I think the bottom is in. I think 16,000 is off the table. But I don't think, without a black swan event, I don't think we go under 20,000. If we do get a black swan event, something crazy happens, sure, maybe we'll test 18. But bottom's in, man.
I agree.
I think the value is just too strong. We're getting closer and closer to the halving. and we've been scraping the bottom of the prices for crypto. All the charts say it. More than likely, if you look at history, we've already been to the bottom. So,
Speaking of bottom, that's not really a bottom. So we talked about this on Monday. So every Monday we start off, we talk about the biggest happenings of the week. And one thing we talked about was the JOLTS report, the job opening and labor turnover. Well, good news, kind of, as it declined in January, but still far outnumber available workers. The Bureau of Labor, the BLS JOLTS report showed there are 10.824 million job openings, down about 410,000 from the previous month. That equates to around 1.9 jobs per available worker. Quits, which is a signal of worker confidence and mobility, fell to 3.88 million, the lowest level since May of 2021. And so this is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The number of job openings decreased to 10.8 million on the last business day of January. Over the month, the number of hires and total separations changed a little at 6.4 and 5.9 million, respectively. Separation quits 3.9 million and layoffs discharges 1.7 million. So better than December, but still higher than they would like. So we know time and time again, Fed has said, job market is still tight. We still have room to hike interest rates. They are expecting unemployment rate to get to 4.6% by the end of this year. And in watching the hearing or the testimony yesterday in the Senate, today in the House, it's so obvious. One side of the political aisle is pushing this narrative that you don't need to hike interest rates. We know why inflation is here. If you compare us to the world, our inflation is much lower than that of Europe, than that of Germany, than that of Japan, and wherever the case may be. While the other side is saying spending needs to be cut, and spending is what's causing inflation. And so, we do have some clips we're going to show you.
hold on. Wait a second. This big number just came in, bro. I gotta drop it, bro. You know what it is?
Yeah, 22,100.
No, we got a 7,500 subscribers. So we are halfway to 15,000. So thank you so much for everyone and all your support here. We just crossed this milestone today, just now in the last couple minutes.
You see that revenue? You see the revenue?
What's the revenue?
Right there, estimated revenue.
Yeah.
How much of that is Jimmy?
The sad thing, this doesn't even cover our lease. So we're still operating in the red here. So
It's okay. We got you guys.
mm-hmm.
You guys keep coming. We'll keep shoveling money out.
All right. Now, so thank you to all of our viewers. Thank you for the support. We really appreciate it. I do want to say, where the hell the likes at? We got 70 likes, 130 people.
130.
Are you not appreciative? Are you happy that we got to 7,500 subscribers? Let's get a resounding olas for the chat. Let's go. We got 130 people. Can we get 100 olas in the chat?
Ooh.
I want to.
If we get 100 dollars, we will open up the club.
Okay. Let's see if we can get 100. I'm gonna lead the charge. I'm dropping the ola. All right.
Tyler, you're in charge of keeping track of.
We need an ola count meter. And if you're new here, also say hello so that way we can drop an ola back at you. We do have a few new people. We got Kojo Barima. We got Sun God, Ham City, Totoro Cologne, your owner, and then we got Crypto Chris Zachariah, Angry Piston, Andonis, and Kinda Sir. Mitch saw as well. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Robin,
What's
I
up?
think I love Senator Lummis.
Oh,
I think
yeah?
I love her. And, I don't think my wife's going to have an issue with that. But why do I love her? Because she speaks from a place of understanding. She took the time to learn, and she doesn't spew garbage. And so here's from yesterday's Senate hearing. And this is Senator Lummis beautifully breaking down that Bitcoin uses too much energy. Bitcoin is bad for the environment narrative. So I think it's important to hear high-level officials who actually understand, give reasoning and explanation. I think it's important for us to listen to, so which is why that's what we're going to do right now. Senator Lummis on the cryptocurrency and the environment.
first question is for Mr. Altenberg. What does a digital asset mining operation look like? I mean, are there shovels digging in the ground? What does it look like?
It depends where the location, though. The mining sites that are being placed at our fracked gas wells, they're essentially semi-trailers that have methane gas-powered generators that are plugged into the well and big shipping containers full of racks of Bitcoin miners.
Okay, and a Bitcoin miner is actually a computer.
Yeah, it's about the size of a toaster, and it uses 3 times the energy of a house.
Okay, so there is a bunch of toasters in a line. Sometimes they're dipped in fluids, so they run cooler. They can be air-cooled, they can be water-cooled, but it's basically just a computer.
Yes.
So, is that computer that's mining Bitcoin directly emitting pollutants?
No, it's energy source. It's electric source is what's emitting.
Okay, so now let's...
Okay. The actual computer, and by the way, Crypto Bowhunter said, first time here after seeing our Frank Candles. Welcome from the Candle Mafia. If you're from the Candle Mafia from 2 days ago where I was on Frankie's show, say hello. We love you guys. Thanks for joining our community. So, the miners itself, the ASICs, are not causing pollution or carbon, whatever.
I thought they were.
No, they're not.
What?
They're not, according to this expert.
Yeah.
But
I thought they had
the
like little
power
I thought they had
sources-
little mufflers on the back.
The power source is, and everything is connected to the power source. We're going to call it the power source. Remember that. Okay, let's go back to the video.
Let's take an EV charging station. If that EV charging station is powered by electricity from natural gas or coal, shouldn't it also have the same monitoring that is being requested by this bill?
I think the issue is looking at how efficiency is measured. It's all sources of electricity, whether it's the lights or the speaker system here, are going to use electricity and produce a certain amount of work for that electricity. The issue with Bitcoin and proof of work cryptocurrency is the work that we are doing is not actually necessary to have cryptocurrency or to have blockchain technology.
Lies! Okay.
Okay, let's talk about gold. Where does gold come from?
It's mined.
It's mined, okay. Is energy expended in producing gold?
Yes.
Okay. Is gold absolutely essential?
For certain technologies, it is.
Is it Congress's job to decide whether an energy use is worthwhile or not? I mean, surely you've heard that Bitcoin is digital gold because it is limited to 21 million Bitcoin ever to be mined. It is permissionless, which means you don't have to rely on a third party or trusted third party to do transactions in it or to hold it. It is a store of value, and that is commonly agreed to. Okay, so you've got gold, it's a store of value. You've got Bitcoin, it's a store of value. They both consume energy to produce. Yes. Now, is it Congress's role to say gold is a more worthwhile use of energy than Bitcoin?
There is a long history of that very thing. We have energy efficiency standards for appliances. We've got CAFE standards for vehicles. And for most air pollution, for most new air pollution sources, there's legal requirements that before they operate, they install the best available technology to reduce the pollution. So we do make those decisions every day.
So we're still mining coal in this country. We're still producing natural gas, and we have the cleanest burning natural gas in probably the world here in the United States, and produce it in the most environmentally sound manner. But it's a hydrocarbon. So if my car is oil consuming or natural gas consuming, is it a less worthy use of energy than energy that comes from coal and natural gas, but is converted to electricity for an EV?
Well, there are using vehicles, using our entire transportation network requires a certain amount of energy, and there are economic benefits that we get from that transportation network.
I have one, and my time's about up, so thank you. I have a question for Ms. Detlinger. Do you view digital asset mining operations as a negative for the power sector?
I certainly don't speak for the entire power sector, but within the state of Nebraska, we've actually seen benefits. We have not seen the drawbacks that have been mentioned during the hearing today. And most of those have just been managed locally, whether by the municipality, by the county, or by the Nebraska Department of Environment and
Here, guys, here's what's important to remember. You have the guy who was speaking before this lady that is speaking subjectively, right? That is speaking based off what he's read and what he understands, right? You have this lady who's speaking from experience, from seeing it, from being there, from understanding
and just looking at the straight numbers. Like, she's just like, hey, what you're saying, we're not seeing. Your downfalls and the negatives are you're associating with proof of work. We don't see that.
Let me ask you a question.
In Nebraska,
Rob,
we only see the positives. We haven't seen any of the negatives.
Let me ask you this question, Robin. So when you buy a house, you get it appraised, right? You have two appraisers. You got an appraiser that gathers all the information from online pictures, never goes to the actual house and appraises the house at a certain value. Then you have the appraiser that goes to the house, sees everything, sees the house. Are there dinks? Is the stucco coming off? Which appraiser are you going to trust? You're going to trust the one that went and saw it? You're going to trust the one that just did the research online and saw some videos or pictures?
I'm gonna trust. I got an appraiser that I know, so I'm always trying to sell my house, so try to get the best value possible.
You're gonna trust the one that's been there.
Yeah, obviously, if you're experienced in the field and the particular field that you're discussing, obviously that's a no-brainer. And you have somebody here that, in his field, I'm sure he's put together energy mandates. He does. I will say he puts together a compelling argument that say, hey, there are energy standards for your dryers, for example. You go to buy a water heater, you always have that little sticker to tell you how much energy it consumes. And so to be energy approved, you have that little sticker on the appliances. You have to meet a certain threshold. So to that regard, sure, it makes sense. But at the end of the day, if you're making the ASICs and the miners as efficient as possible and increasing the hash rate without increasing the power consumption, then you're essentially doing the same thing that he's saying, right? You're becoming more efficient and having more productivity. It's the same thing if you buy a fridge from the 1960s and it takes 10 times as much energy as a fridge that you buy now, and it's a lot more efficient. The technology has moved forward and it takes less energy to accomplish the same amount of temperature inside the fridge. Same thing can be said with ASICs. So if you're going to apply the, hey, energy standards for appliances and energy standards for the industry have always been here, well, hey, we can argue that ASICs are becoming more efficient and they're doing a better job.
You don't have to argue that. That's literally what's happening.
And so you're securing the network with less energy and more hash rate year over year. And Metcalfe's law says this, that semiconductors shrink by a factor of 2 every year or whatever, or every 2 years or something like that. I forget the law exactly. But.
Did you bring calves into this? Because we've already seen the calves. They're not very impressive.
We got 170 viewers, man. We're gonna get to 250 today. Open the club. 250, man. We are.
Help us get to 250. Share this stream, guys. You know the content's good. We know the content's good. And it's not to sound I'm
tweeting right now. But I need everybody to retweet this.
You guys know The people that have come to the studio, the people that we talk to, you guys know how much effort and time and money and resources have gone into this. You know it's a good show. Share it. Share it with someone. All right. Before we get into more footage, I want to share the biggest news, which is, and I love this title so much. I just love it. SEC snubbed. That just sounds so good. You know, like, doesn't that sound so good? SEC. I think what would sound better is Gary Gensler snub, right? Because he's obviously got a bone to pick with us, so we got a bone to pick with him. So it's like the bully, right? The bully's bullying you, bullying me, and then finally someone just steps up and right in the grill, and everyone stands there like, yeah. They are snubbed as Voyager wins the court approval for sale of their assets to Binance.us. So good news for you guys who have money locked on Voyager. Bankrupt cryptocurrency lender Voyager Digital has won court approval to sell $1 billion of its assets to Binance.us. The approval was granted by U.S. bankruptcy judge Michael Wiles. Might get Wiles tattooed on my foot or something. March 7th. Kidding, of course.
And can we get some boo sound effects? Thank you, Marco. Crickets. There it is.
So, the approval was granted by U.S. bankruptcy judge Michael Wiles on March 7th, which came after 4 days of arguments presented by Voyager and the SEC. Now, this deal would give back Voyager creditors approximately 73% of what they're owed. Is that a win? That's got to be a win, right?
I would say 73%.
That's a win, bro.
For sure.
That's a win. That is a win, win, win. So congratulations. That's awesome. It sucks that 27%, but hey, chalk that up as a learning experience. Chalk that up as a learning lesson. Could have been a lot more expensive, but here you are, 73%. So this is from, I believe this, oh yeah, so Judge Wiles, this is something he said, I cannot put the entire case into intermediate deep freeze while regulators figure out whether they believe there are problems with the transaction and plan. So shout out to Judge Wiles for not taking the bait of this BS SEC. Oh, they're not going to have money. It's a security and blah, blah, blah. Well, you haven't proven anything and there's no regulation or law. So what are you talking about? I love it. And Miguel Costas said, is Loomis married? I could easily marry her right now. I think she is married. I would just admire her from afar. And if I ever met her, I'd give her a big hug and I'd say, thank you for everything you do. We love you. So we agree that this is a W, 73%. Now, we know the VGX token, it shot up by about 20, 30%. There's going to be a repayment token that comes out. What are your thoughts on that? And of course, I personally would need a little more information to kind of speak more clearly on it as far as giving my opinion.
A repayment token?
Yeah, that's what I read. And let me see if I can
They're
find
not
somewhere.
they're not airdropping a new token, right?
Hold on. I think it was in here. The trading platform will now take a few weeks to decide whether to complete the Binance US sale or liquidate on its own and turn over the proceeds to Voyager account holders. This will depend on how troubling the Voyager views the ongoing investigations in Binance.us. Okay, so the judge approved it, but now it's up to Voyager. They can either liquidate or they can go ahead and sell. If they liquidate, according to this article, customers will receive about $100 million more. They will receive $100 million less if Voyager decides to liquidate versus if they sold it to Binance.us. So if they sell it, you would get $100 million more collectively. If they liquidate on their own, it would be $100 million less. Price of VGX token shot up 32.9%. I saw somewhere about a repayment token. I don't know what that looks like, or is this going to be something like Bitfinex did?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about a token. That's why I was going to ask him. I think it's just going to be, hey, you just submit the paperwork. You guys owe me money, and then verify that your account was needs to be credited, and then probably pay you. Be my guess. I mean, I don't know. I haven't done an extensive research into it, but that'd be my first inclination of how this is going to play out.
But let's just say they do get 73% of their money back. This is a positive, correct?
Oh, yeah.
It's a positive.
And
And-
anything that doesn't drag out to 8 years is a positive. I'm sorry. Even if it was 50% and you got it back in 6 months, then that's a win, right? Because if you just look at history, you could be 8-10 years out and still be waiting for your return. And at that point, give people money back. Let them, because I mean, at the end of the day, like how much do you think? So if you had $1,000, how much buying power do you think you'll have in 10 years with $1,000? I mean, a gallon of gas will probably be $10, right?
Hey, calm down, man.
15 years ago, gas was $1.99. Now it's $5. So what do you think 10 years from now? If it would have doubled, we would have $4 gallon of gas. We saw it as high as $6, $7. And so to think that a gallon of gas won't get to $10, you're foolish. Just look at history. 10 years is probably where we're going to be
But
at.
airplanes are going to be electronic.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Dennis J, 73% is a huge win. I agree. So if you got money on there, congratulations, guys. But remember, 27% is still a lot of money. Just use that as a learning lesson, right? And just be thankful that this lesson wasn't more expensive, that it wasn't zero.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of bankruptcy, distressed assets. So do you remember the new exchange that Kyle Davies and Zuzu GMX or GTX, which also was, well, no, that's not the name.
And then they rebranded it immediately to
you know what
something
it is
else.
now, though. You know what it is now?
I forget the name.
It is OPNX. OPNX. And this is so good. It's from Crypto News. 3AC founders shake up crypto industry with new exchange after acquiring CoinFlex assets. Now, I want to point out that the other part of this partnership was the founder of CoinFlex, Mark Lamb. So here's a little background. Suzu and Kyle Davies have completed a funding round for their new OPNX exchange and will acquire remaining assets from the troubled crypto exchange CoinFlex. The exchange is set to have raised $25 million. Who the would give these guys $25 million, man? OPNX or Open Exchange will acquire all of CoinFlex's assets, and this includes people, tech, and tokens. He added that Flex. Oh, here, listen to this. Flex will be the new exchange token. So they started off the right way. Let's start another company, and let's right away have an exchange token. According to Ignis, which is someone on Twitter, Flex will be used to pay fees on the platform, similar to how BNB is used, and that 20% of the revenue generated will be used to buy and burn Flex tokens. Do we not learn? Do you guys not learn anything? Guys, from what we've learned, okay? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me times 5.
This might be the biggest troll of the history, bro. And
It has to be, right?
The name literally is OPNX. OPNX. I'm just saying.
OpenX.
Jimmy.
Just say it. Just say it. Just say it.
It sounds like O penis, man. Like his biggest troll ever, bro. It's not a coincidence. I'm sorry. It's not a coincidence. These guys are literally like, we're gonna get you guys good, man. What's the best name we can come up with? GTX. Okay, that one. They caught on to that one really quick. Just like FTX, the next letter. Okay, so okay. What else can we do? Let's give them the big old shaft. What else can we do? You know. I'm telling you, man. These people. You think think these are savvy businessmen? These guys are up to no good, and they're literally trying to troll you here in real time.
Yeah. Rusty Bot said we're demonetized. No, we're not. If we're banned for saying that word, then all right, back to this article. So what is this going to be? What can you do on OPNX? Marketplace for bankruptcy claims. OPNX is a marketplace for trading and bankruptcy claims from other crypto companies. The marketplace officially opened its waitlist for users who want to put their claims up for sale in February, with Suzu then calling it the world's first marketplace for crypto claims trading. And this is a tweet from Mr. Zhu. In July, I said, June, July was total darkness for me, Kyle, and our creditors after our bet went wrong. We were crushed. It was a dark period. We talked to creditors. We tried to fix it. We also lied. But in the end, words and liquidations can only go so far. Correct. Your word went only so far as to ruin people. We knew what we know. What we had to do was build something that takes all the pain and lessons and uses it to advance crypto. Shut the hell up, man. Don't act like you give a crap about crypto, bro. We knew what we had to do. It was an interesting synchronicity that Mark and I reconnected again. Yeah, two scammers reconnected again. Remember, Mark Lamb, the CEO of CoinFlex, was the dude who came out and tried to pitch the idea of crowdfunding, essentially doing a GoFundMe from their users to cover the tracks of the bad mistakes they made. They made a way under collateralized loan to a big whale. I forgot what the name is. The dude didn't pay back or didn't call, got margin called and didn't answer. And now it's like, well, we're going to fix this. We're launching a new token, the recovery token, and they're trying to get their community to buy in. That's this guy. That's the guy. Okay? We had a different story. He was a visionary, spending years building what he considered to be the ideal combo of CeFi and DeFi. I don't think there is an ideal combo of CeFi and DeFi. It's one or the other. You either custody your crypto or you don't. It's that simple. Users want a CeFi trading experience. But since a comparable DeFi experience is a long way off, people keep giving up their security. But along the way, he'd make mistakes. Then he says, somehow it magically combined his idea for a next level centralized exchange, lack of great trading UI post FTX, trapped creditor claims, wish to help investors and build a safer future. It clicked for both of us at exactly the same moment. So I'm not going to read the rest of this, but feel free to do so yourself. And it looks like no one else commented. And it looks like I don't think anyone can comment. The tweet was deleted. Can I
Guess
comment
why?
on this?
What are you going to comment?
There you go. Yeah, beautiful.
Everybody's going to remember OPNX.
Yeah.
When they get-
So, although, is it intriguing to you, right? Take Suzu, Kyle Davies, Mark Lamb, CoinFlex guys. Is being able to trade bankruptcy claims, is that something intriguing or interesting to you?
It just sounds
Scammy, right?
so full of fraud.
Like if
Because
you
you're
got ties to
buying
the judge or-
distressed assets and you're creating a platform to profit off of people's claims to debt.
claims to why they got screwed over.
Yeah. Do you like the credit collectors, the debt collectors that call you? You hate them, right?
Hate them.
Would you ever start a debt collection company?
Hell no.
Because it's just,
Look,
you're kind of like the scum of the earth. And I'm not saying that their job isn't needed, required, or whatever, but let's just be real. You're the scum. Nobody likes you. You're the guy that, hey, I was down to hard times. I got a $500,000 bill from the hospital because I broke my leg and didn't have insurance. And now I have to file for bankruptcy. And now I got you repeatedly calling me, harassing me and my family members. Nobody likes you. And so if you want to step into the industry where you're buying distressed assets as almost like a creditor, buying up debt collections is essentially what it is. Nobody's going to like you. I don't like you, Suzu. I don't like you. I don't like any of y'all. You are scum, and I'll leave it at that.
you know,
Now, I'm not saying it's not a good platform. Can't make money off of it. Not saying it's not needed. I just don't like it. I don't like you. That's it.
so Flatsmack is not happy with 70%. He said, all this makes me want to do is just stick to real gold and not deal with this crypto BS. That's where you're wrong, man, my friend. Is you're wrong. This is not crypto BS. This is people BS. And these people exist in crypto They exist in gold. They exist in the stock market. They exist everywhere. So right? Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah. Well, this isn't the thing that we remember here. This is people taking for granted cryptocurrency as though it's regulated in the same way that traditional finance is, and it's not. And so if you want to play in this sector and not expose yourself to risk, then to custody it yourself. Because if you entrust a third party that has no oversight, things are going to go wrong. And it's as simple as that. Now, you can sit here and go buy 100 handbags from eBay and get all pissed off when 80% of them are fake, but you're playing in that playground. If you want to go buy authentic, you go down to the Louis Vuitton store and you buy it in person. And if you trust these third parties to do it for you, you're going to get burned. So if you go down to the exchange, you buy it, and you don't custody yourself and you entrust somebody else, you're going to get burned. Go to the source. You want some Bitcoin, buy it and keep it in a damn Bitcoin wallet.
You know, someone...
and you don't have this problem.
I watched a YouTube short. It was from another content creator. Never heard of him before, but I think he said it great. Think about the nomenclature, right? Exchange, a crypto exchange, a centralized exchange. That's where you exchange from crypto to crypto or from fiat to crypto. A hardware wallet is where you store things. You store your money. Just think of it that way, right? You shouldn't be storing and custodying your crypto on a centralized exchange. You should be using it to trade. You should be using it to exchange, right? And then whatever you plan on holding, hold it in your wallet. That's where you hold your money, right? You hold your money in a wallet. You don't hold your money on the floor. You don't hold your money at the exchange counter.
You wouldn't buy a piece of furniture at the liquidation store and then say, "Hey, can you guys hold this for a year and I'll come back and buy it when I close on my house?" You're building my house. What happens if that furniture store goes out of business? No different. Buy something, you take it away. You buy a couch, you go put it in storage if your house isn't ready, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. And so, Flat Smack, I hope you don't take that personally. That's just my opinion. You might not agree with it, but you know.
We do got some new people in the chat. If you're new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. We have Crypto, Bow Hunter, Barker, Foxfire, Marco, Sony Joseph, Ty Mackey, Kojo Barima, P9 Skids Up, and Aristides. Hola!
You say RSI?
Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
You say RSI?
Aristides.
Okay. Robin?
And also, Jamsty TV said hello.
Jamsty TV CBDC is coming soon. Let's talk about Bob McHenry, the chairman. What committee was it again? What's the committee he's chairman of in the House? The Financial Services Committee or Financial Oversight Committee? One of them. Well, so Jerome Powell, he had a 2-day hearing. One day yesterday was at the Senate. Today it's at the House of Representatives. So we know Bob McHenry, who is the chairman of one of the most influential committees in the House. He's a big crypto guy. And so here's what Mr. McHenry had to say in his opening statements. So Rocco, cue the laptop.
Federal Reserve put out a policy statement noting that digital asset custody is a permissible activity if done in a safe and sound manner. However, if a bank can demonstrate to the Fed that it can conduct that activity in safe and sound manner, the capital impact of the SEC's staff accounting bulletin effectively precludes banks from offering digital asset custody service at any scale. Are you aware of this staff accounting bulletin by the Securities Exchange Commission and its impact on custodial services?
I am aware of it. Of course, it's an SEC accounting bulletin. This is SAB 121, I think. And
that's right.
Certainly aware of it. And, you know, we do follow general accepted accounting principles in our
Yes.
capital regulation.
Okay. Well, without objection, I'll submit to the submit for the record my letter to the bank regulators about this. So while the Fed says it can be done in a safe and sound manner, the Securities Exchange Commission has regulated it so that it cannot be done.
So while the Fed says it can be done in a safe and effective manner, the Securities and Exchange Commission has regulated it so that it cannot. Guys, we're coming, and I'm telling you, I can feel it, guys. We're coming to an inflection point here where you have judges and lawyers and the Fed chair and people with equal political pull as someone like Gary Gensler coming ahead with Gary Gensler and the SEC. We saw Michael Wiles, Judge Wiles, shun the SEC. They didn't give two craps about, they're saying, you want to regulate something, but you're not giving guidance. I think we're coming to a head here, and my bet is on common sense, right? Because common sense has no boundaries, right? And doesn't have political affiliations. Some people refuse to look at the common sense or they ignore it. But at some point, it's going to be hard to ignore common sense. And what Gary Gensler is doing is against common sense. What do you have to say about what Chairman McHenry said, Robin?
Not much. This is the same political banter we keep seeing over and over again. And I'm telling you, we're chasing our own tail. We got, and the thing is for every we got you, Cynthia Loomis, and what was the name of this gentleman again?
Bob McHenry.
Bob McHenry. Every time somebody makes a good and valid point, there's someone else on the other end, like Elizabeth Warren, making the negative, pushing the negative narrative. And the thing is you just got people arguing without anybody sitting down and drawing anything up, right? We're years into this. We started these congressional hearings back in 2017, 2018 with the idea, the premise that, hey, let's get some regulation in place and let's get some clarity in place. And these discussions, these aren't, they didn't just all of a sudden pop up. We were talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum are commodities by the CFTC chair back in 2017. And it's just at this point, I'm like, what is taking so long?
We're going to cover news. We're going to cover news about Thailand, or as our friend from The Hangover, Alan, calls it, Thailand. They are cutting taxes to bring ICOs to their country. But we'll get to that in a second. We have a $5 super chat, or €5 super chat from Kazuma. Dave, the only people who hold their crypto in exchanges are people who look for day profit in fiat, not real investors. They are just money launderers. I don't know if I call them money launderers. But if you're actively trading, here's the thing though. If you're gonna bank profit, right? If you're actively trading and you're like, all right, I'm taking this 20% profit off the table, move that 20% into your wallet where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, the last thing I'll say is when it comes, we can sit here and beat the drum like, hey, cold storage is the way to go. It is, but there's always going to be a market for people that don't want to custody themselves, don't want to keep track of a seed phrase. That's just the reality of the situation. Perhaps the crypto degens, the ones that are highly invested in this technology, like ourselves, we don't mind doing that. But the average individual that just wants to buy some Bitcoin, doesn't want to do any kind of research. They just like, hey, I want to diverse my portfolio. Bitcoin sounds like it's the truth. I'd like to get some. Don't have time to do the whole custody thing myself. Sure, there's an avenue and a place for that. And unfortunately, we're just dragging our feet on any kind of oversight or regulation that could give people peace of mind that a third party can custody your crypto without, and also have some reassurance, perhaps some insurance to say, hey, we will custody your crypto or we'll pay you back.
But you know what pisses me off about that? I talked about this months ago and you laughed at me. You laughed at me.
I was talking about on the institutional level. No. Yeah. On an institutional level, you were saying that like, hey, we buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin and then someone else holds it and then it's all guaranteed. Like, but on a
Coinbase is doing it now through their Coinbase One
it's like the same thing. Like you can't start a company. Google can't take out an insurance claim for the entire valuation of their company. That's what I'm saying. When you get to an institution like MicroStrategy can't have insurance cover their whole business model. Like they just can't. There's not enough money. There's no money to do that. And so what I'm saying is that for the retail investor, somebody that wants personal insurance, That's why the FDIC covers up to $10,000. The FDIC doesn't say, hey, if there's a bank run across the country, we're going to pay every person back. No, there's not enough money for it. So what they do is they protect the smaller individuals, $10,000 and below, and that's it. So
let's move on to
there's nowhere in the world that offers $1 billion insurance covered 1-to-1. Like, it doesn't exist.
And you know that because?
Well, I'm just saying that, like, even if you have $20,000 in your bank account and the bank goes under, you only get, was it a 10? Is it 100,000 or is it 10,000? Which one is it? The FDIC insured.
250,000.
Was it 250? Okay. Well, then let's just say you have $500,000. Excuse me. Then if that's the case, you only get $250K. And so I think we need that in crypto. We need, hey, we'll insure you up to $500,000 on your crypto per a government regulation if the companies follow the government guidelines for self-custody or for custody. That's it. I would not have a problem with that. If the government was like, hey, we need to audit your books, make sure that you got the crypto that people are storing, and if you comply with that, now this is all for storage, and let's just say your Coinbase wallet or Coinbase vault or a retail department, and you say, hey, we will follow the government's guidelines to ensuring that we're backing your crypto. We're not playing around with it. We're not rehypothecating it. We're storing your crypto the proper way, and the government identifies we're doing it the proper way. They, in turn, could insure it that way. And then you could have something comparable to the FDIC, but in the crypto department. No different than what the banks do now.
I want to move on. We got 200 people in here. If you're new, say hello. We will hola back at you. So the next video clip from today's hearing with Jerome Powell is from none other than the chairman of the new Digital Asset Committee, or I'm not sure what the name is, Mr. French Hill. And so this is what he had to say.
Yesterday in the Senate, you suggested that you supported a regulatory framework, a broadly regulatory framework for digital assets. Is that right?
Yes.
And is it your view that if we had a regulatory framework here in the United States for digital assets, that there'd be more transparency and rules of the road for both consumers, investors, and developers?
Absolutely.
And would it, if we had those rules of the road for business seeking to use and develop blockchain as a potential new technology in their business and tokenized payments, that, again, that would be beneficial to business to know how to go about that?
Yes, and to assure that it's all done in a safe and sound manner when we're talking about banks.
Right. And then my next point would be exactly that, to help banks, investment brokers, custodians understand how they could even participate in that market in a safe and sound manner. You agree that a regulatory framework would help on that?
Yes.
And then finally, we've grown up in our country, and it's unique in the world, that we have a dual banking system, and due to a quirk here in Congress over 100 years ago, we have insurance is regulated exclusively by the states. So would you believe that that regulatory framework would also have to preserve some sort of role subject to safety and soundness, for states to play some role in that regulatory framework for digital assets?
Let me just say, I think that it certainly works in banking and insurance. I have no problem with those.
Right. But you think it could, you consider it possible that it could also work in digital assets?
Certainly possible.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let me stop there. That's interesting. It sounds like Representative Hill is pushing the narrative to let states regulate how crypto should be regulated. You getting that feeling here from what he's saying, Robin?
He dangled that carrot a little bit. He didn't outright say it, but he's kind of proposing that thought. This needs to be on a federal level. We don't need one state to be pro. We already see the headaches that has well, hey, I live in New York, so I can only buy these. Like let's stop, man. Like, let's stop. Like, just.
So it's all or nothing for you?
It just needs to be done on a federal level.
I'm just saying, but what if?
Yeah, because here's the thing: you have a CBDC. That's the subject matter as well. You have a CBDC going to be regulated by states? Like, come on, bro. Like that. What kind of nightmare will that be? You're gonna have state taxes, states saying you can do X, Y, and Z
Actually,
with crypto.
CBDCs are going to be regulated by the casinos.
Yeah, it just sounds like some like we want to uncomplicate, clarify, and make things easier and simpler, especially for retail investors that have no idea what the hell's going on anymore. Now I feel like you need a lawyer just to buy crypto if you're a whale, right? I'm serious.
It's sad.
Institutions need to talk to lawyers, financial advisors, talk to SEC lawyers to find out how to enter in our space. And God forbid if you operate in California and your headquarters is in New York and you have a branch office in Florida, like, good Lord, could you imagine the complexity that what would happen if you went on a state level? Like don't even bring it up, man. Please. Please.
All right.
Not you. I'm talking to the congressman.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were
I'm talking like, please. For the love of God.
You know what I do want to bring up, though, Robin? I want to bring up our man, Jimmy gifting another 10 memberships. So that's 20 for the day. Jimmy, the official hype man. Bro, we're going to have, when Jimmy comes out here, bro, we're going to splurge on my man right here.
Yeah.
We going places.
Yeah. Want to open up an account at the OPNX exchange?
Okay. Rocco's missing all the good ones here. All right.
I didn't know that was good.
I know, yeah. Surprisingly, because it came from Robin, it was good. You didn't recognize that right away, which is kind of weird. Are you okay? You have a fever? Okay. Let's go back to Representative Hill and see what else he had to say. Robin is correct. They did also talk about CBDCs.
Turning to a topic that's been a subject here for nearly 4 years, central bank digital currencies. Article 1 of the Constitution reserves coins and coin issuance, money issuance to the Congress, and we've in turn delegated that to the U.S. Treasury, which has, since 1912, engaged the Federal Reserve as their fiscal agent. You've testified here many times before that to issue a central bank digital currency, that would have to be authorized by statute by Congress. Is that still your testimony?
So that is absolutely the case as it relates to a retail CBDC. There are potential forms of a wholesale CBDC that you would need to look at. It's less clear. But we've always been talking about retail CBDC, and that's something we would certainly need congressional approval for.
And what would be a parameter on something that's not a retail CBDC where you think that could be issued in some form or fashion without Congress's direct statutory authorization?
It would be, for example, it would just be something between banks, so it would look an awful lot like a bank reserve. And you might ask, well, why would we need it? And that's a really good question too.
Yeah.
But just something that's literally within a wholesale market.
But that speaks that you might have a blockchain between banks and the Fed using a central bank digital currency token to settle transactions institutionally inside Yes. So that leads me to FedNow, which is supposed to be up and running, I think, this summer, somewhat behind the scene there. I would like to ask you to formally have this full committee briefed on that by the Federal Reserve. I know the chair of the Kansas City Bank was involved. She's now left. And I think the committee has a lot of questions about FedNow, how its interoperability will work, how it's going to roll out. And also just a question that we've been asked, that why the Fed wire system isn't up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week now to benefit consumers that are using Venmo. Do you have a thought on that?
I'm not sure why we're not 24/7 on that, and we'd be delighted to come up and brief the committee on.
With the integration of the internet and created the damn thing in 1995, right? Didn't really get adoption until 99. Yeah. Didn't get retail adoption until 2003. Why the hell can't we process a transaction on Saturday? Seriously?
Yeah.
Like, come on, why
It's a
why
joke.
are we
It's a joke.
2023 for somebody to be like, hey, why can't we do a wire transfer on Saturday? Like,
Bro,
well,
we moved.
Well, hold on, man.
We moved US dollars, $300 from our business Bank of America account to PayPal. It took 6 days. 6 days. I'll leave it at that.
We need to push back on crypto. We don't want integration. It's bad. It's bad. It's so bad.
Finally,
Wait 6 days.
there, yeah. There is one more clip. This one's a short one. This was about a minute and a half.
I swear, I feel like the federal government is like on a horse and buggy, like, and somebody's like pulling up with a Model T Ford, like, "What's up, bros?" They're like, "No, no, 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 no. We don't do this. Nope, 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 nope. You're gonna have to park that car. You're not allowed to drive that thing. You need this horse and buggy. Infrastructure's not here yet. The roads aren't adequate for that. Don't bring that car in. Like, this is where we're at, bro. You have new innovation that is so much better than what we got. And they're trying to stop it because they're not ready, because their damn shit is out of date. 2023, and you can't send money on Saturday. 6 days. And we're having a congressional hearing on why crypto is so dangerous. You know what's dangerous is the lack of productivity, the fact that we are 2023 and we cannot send money on a Saturday. 6 days. I'm done.
You know, well, our friend here, Aristides, said, "Fast, go to an ATM, take the cash, and drive it to the person." That makes sense.
Yes.
Of course, we know he's probably.
What
kidding,
about all
but-
the hydrocarbons? You measuring that on the drive?
Yeah, man, you got carbon credits for that? You got enough of that? All right. I think this next one is very, very important. This hasn't anything to do with crypto. Well, not directly, right? But it's setting the tone for the next FOMC meeting and beyond. Okay.
Is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman McHenry and Chairman Powell. Economic data are mixed, as you know. On the one hand, low unemployment, robust hiring, strong consumer spending, and persistent core inflation, and a CPI that's still more than 3 times your 2% target suggests more aggressive tightening is warranted. On the other hand, because the Fed misjudged the inflationary impact of Democrats' overspending, kept interest rates too low for far too long, and failed to end quantitative easing soon enough, the Fed has been forced to raise the Fed funds rate 450 basis points in just 11 months and reduce the M2 money supply at the fastest rate since the 1930s. As a result, wage gains have slowed, credit card debt is at an all-time high, the housing market is in a slump, and the yield curve is inverted. I agree with you that the historical record cautions strongly against prematurely loosening policy. But what would you say to those who caution about the lag effects of monetary policy, the precipitous decline in liquidity? Will the economy have to suffer a recession in order to bring inflation down to 2%?
We are very well aware of the lags with which monetary policy affects economic activity and inflation. Those are long and variable, and I would stress highly uncertain. There is really no agreement on exactly how long they are, but we know that slowing down the pace of rate hikes this year is a way for us to see more of those effects as they come in.
In December, most Fed officials expected to lift rates this year to between 5 and 5.5%. Is that still your estimated terminal rate, or does the data suggest that the terminal rate could be higher than 5.5%?
My colleagues and I will write down new forecasts and release them to the public on March 22. But as I mentioned in my testimony, the data we've seen so far this year suggests that the ultimate level of rates will need to be higher. But we still have some more data to come in between.
So
7%. Here we come.
7%. Look. Markets are starting to price this in, right? First, 25 was priced in for March. And now we saw that flip on the CME, and we're seeing it make its way through the markets, the stock market, the crypto market, right? Markets are forward-looking. Investors are forward-looking, right? That's why when Jerome Powell speaks, or when the interest rate hike comes in, there's really no volatility. The volatility comes when he speaks, because they're pricing in for what they expect moving forward, not what happened on that day, right? So now market's starting to price in 50 basis points, which I've been saying is on the table. I think Robin now thinks it's also going to be very likely that we get 50. But what is it going to be for the rest of the year remains to be seen. I'm hearing rumors that the CPI number is coming in as sub 6% next week. It's going to come in at 5.4. If that happens, that's a 1% decrease. That's pretty big.
I think from an investor standpoint, do you feel confident in gaining 5% returns on Bitcoin in the next 90 days? Like extremely confident, like overwhelming. I'm gonna make 5% returns on Bitcoin
every month
in 90 days, 3 months.
Oh, so 5% total in 90 days. So about 2%.
I mean, would you be willing to put your savings account into it?
If I knew that was going to happen?
No, I'm just saying you don't know if it's going to happen. What's your personal expertise? Would you feel comfortable like, hey, I can get 0.01 in my savings account, or I can just liquidate the savings account and put it in a Bitcoin and cash out in 90 days? That would be a dumb move, right?
I mean,
right?
But that's a very intricate question.
But I'm just saying that
because so me personally, you don't have a savings account. I have a savings account, and I have money in there that's extremely easy to access for emergencies, if I have to miss work or whatever the case may be. So no, that money I will not put into Bitcoin. But some of the other things, like if I have expendable income, or if I'm like, all right, my target is to have 50K in cash ready to be accessible.
What if you didn't need it liquid? What if you would put it in there?
I would feel comfortable putting it in there.
But you understand the downside risk, right?
Of course. I would also feel comfortable putting it in, getting 5% on a 90-day T-bill.
That's where I'm getting at. And I think that you're okay with taking that risk. But at this moment, these hedge funds, these investors, they're getting a historically high 90-day return. When we sat down, we talked to Paxos, and they were saying that they're getting 3 to 4% returns. This was 6 months ago on their stablecoin reserves. Now they're getting 5%.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing money is not going to go to Bitcoin and high risk on assets in this environment where Jerome Powell's taking testimony and saying, hey, we're our 5%'s out the window, bro. 0.5% probably coming, and you know what? 6% is probably on the table, and who knows how high this damn thing will go. Unemployment ain't moving, ain't growing fast enough for us, so we're about to ratchet this thing up. And as an investor, as if you're managing other people's money and you're simply trying not to lose money, hey, I can get 5% compounding every 3 months, bro. Compound. That sounds very lucrative to me. And what does that do to the U.S. economy? What does that do to the global economies? It means money is leaving the investment sector and going into treasury bills, into the monetary system.
To the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, to the dollar. And not good, man.
No, you're 100%
not
right.
Good.
And you know me, I like to keep it as common sense as possible. That's the whole reason they raise interest rate, is to take liquidity out of the markets, because the Fed knows investors and hedge funds are more likely to go risk-free 5% in 30 days or in 90 days than to go risk on maybe 5% in 90 days, maybe down 40% in 90 days.
But as this money leaves corporations, as they leave stock markets, that's a loss in profit. That's companies got to pay out, essentially, right? You know, if all of a sudden the stock price, everyone starts selling off Microsoft to go into treasury, Microsoft price, their stock goes down. Their company valuation goes down. What do they got to do? They got to lay off. Just saying, man.
Rob, let's give some love to the chat here.
How we doing? All right. So we do got some new people here in the chat. If you're new, say hello so that way we can drop an hola back at you. We got
Hold on, man. I got a problem real quick, bro.
What's that?
You were changing the GIFs on these super chats. You haven't done that. I was looking
I
forward
really
to
like
seeing
this
new
one,
ones.
man.
But I like having new ones. I think it's cool.
Okay, I'll find some new ones for you. Gotcha.
Go ahead.
All right, we got Kyle Downey. We got Marco with a J, so the last name, unlike the Marco with the K. We got Crypto Knight, also Randy A, Joyride, Angry Chihuahua, A, Alice FC, and Rat with a W. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. Also, we have a super chat as well. We had Mike Reinhardt says Litecoin halving is coming up. Bitcoin usually runs with it. And then Kent Wright also is a 3-month member. So shout out to you.
Shout out to you, my friend.
And if you're new here, say hello so we can jump an hola back at you. We got Hanya back in here. I haven't seen Hanya in a while.
Hola, Hanya!
Been a minute. And we also got Shank in the back. Shanking back.
Oh, God. Hola! Real quick. OG Lion King or the recreated CGI Lion King?
Oh, man, that CGI one was terrible.
It was not that good, right?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like, okay,
Like the
I don't
Mufasa
want to
part?
say, I
Okay.
don't want to say it was terrible.
It wasn't
I take
terrible,
but definitely fell short of my expectations.
Okay.
Like the Aladdin with Will Smith, that was a good. That was good.
That was good.
Mulan, yeah, this,
you know, the part in the original cartoon Lion King where Mufasa was thrown off the cliff by Scar, I cried every time. I was expecting to cry during the CGI. I didn't.
you would cry.
You didn't cry during that when you were little?
No.
Bro? You're a cold-hearted reptile.
That's right.
You do look like a... So, anyways, let's move on to some other crypto news. You guys want to keep going? If you guys want to keep going, put a 1 in the chat. Or would you rather stop? We're going to let the community decide here. Would you like us to keep covering news and keep going, or would you like us to stop? Put a 1 in the chat. I'm curious to know. We are going to open up the club. That is in honor of reaching 7,500 subscribers. So yeah. Knox Bill said 1, not the number 1, but 1. Okay, I've seen enough ones. We're going to keep going. So, couple things on Silvergate. All right. Silvergate. So this is the first one. Silvergate issues continue. Bank closes its SEN. So Silvergate Exchange Network. It's been closed. Effective immediately, Silvergate Bank has made a risk-based decision to discontinue the Silvergate Exchange Network. All of the deposit-related services remain operational. The service allowed investors to complete 24/7 transfers to crypto exchanges, which is one of the most utilized products of the bank. That's the bad news. Here's the good news. They're reportedly in talks with the FDIC on ways to avoid a shutdown. This is interesting. Regulators are reportedly in urgent talks with Silvergate to find ways to save the crypto-friendly bank from a possible shutdown. This is from Bloomberg, but of course, Bloomberg has a paywall, and no, I'm not going to pay for Bloomberg because I don't like them that much. The FDIC examiners arrived at the firm's headquarters last week and have since been reviewing the firm's books and records. However, a decision has yet to be made on how it would deal with this financial strife, nor does FDIC involvement suggest a solution can't be reached without their input, said another source. So what does this tell you, Robin? Okay, even if the FDIC finds a way to help Silvergate, from going under, you think Silvergate is done in the world of crypto?
Yeah. They're done, period. Their stock's down over 90%. All of their big institutional clients, Coinbase, Circle, Paxos, have all departed. They're shutting down their essentially their exchange for their institutional clients. What services are they going to go back to selling real estate? I mean, that's how they started, but they left that business model a while ago. And at this point, I don't think they're going to want them back in there. Right?
Interesting. Yeah.
So they're done, man. They're done. The stock is low. If you believe they're going to bounce back, buy their stock because it's all-time low and it probably won't go any lower before it crashes. It goes to zero.
I want to help out my friend Crypto Mike. Can you talk about Binance Voyager thing again? Yeah, I'll briefly sum it up. Judge said we can move forward. Binance, you can buy Voyager. Now it's up to Voyager whether they want to liquidate the assets themselves or sell it to Binance. If they liquidate the assets themselves, creditors will receive $100 million in total less versus if they sold it to Binance. Also, they are expecting about 73% of your funds to be returned. So if you had 10K on Voyager and the Binance deal goes through and they decide to pull the trigger, Voyager does, because the court said it's fine, then you'd get about $7,300 in value back. That's the gist of it.
All right, and then I got a couple of new people here. So we got Crypto Mike O, Vlad, SSG Cypherpunk, and Brian. Hola! Welcome.
Is he Vlad?
All right, let's wrap it up. Vlad.
His name Vlad. All right, guys, we're done. Check out our social medias. Find us on Twitter at SinCityCrypto1. Go buy some merch for yourself. If you're a whale member, you get 10% off. Also, go join our community.
When are we going to get to that 10th whale member?
How many
We're at 9 right now.
Ooh, who will be number 10? Maybe we'll talk about it later. Maybe for a certain number, we'll do something special.
I was going to say, don't sign up for the whale membership with your secondary account. That's cheating.
Why? It's all the same. Money's money, bro. All right. Yeah, go check out all the social media stuff and all the stuff and all the other stuff. With that being said, Rocco. Friends, family and family of friends, thank you guys so much. We forgot to open up the club. Damn it.
And it's not too late.
It's not too late.
Cut the music, Rocco.
Cut the music. Rewind. Rocco, open up the club, baby. 75. It's called a boat wave, baby.
What is that?
I don't know.
You hugging yourself?
Shut your mouth.
This the tuck the hands into the armpit move?
Yeah, you tuck other things that I'm not going to talk about. So, guys, thank you again. Come back tomorrow, same time, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We got a great show for you tomorrow as well. Not sure what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be great. That I know for a fact. I have myself, Robin, and Rocco. We love you guys. And Kyler. Thank you. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.